You know, in India, a single tiny predator is behind two completely different public health nightmares. One attacks the brain, the other one just shatters your joints. So, in this explainer, we're going to unpack how one little insect, the mosquito, can unleash two totally separate crises. So, how is that even possible? Well, the answer is in two major diseases that are a huge deal in India: Japanese encephalitis and chikungunya. And yeah, they both start with a mosquito bite, but believe me, that's where the similarities end. Their paths could not be more different. Okay, so let's start with threat number one. This is a virus that doesn't just make you sick, it goes straight for the central nervous system. We're talking about Japanese encephalitis. Now, to really get this disease, you've got to picture its home turf. We're out in the countryside, it's monsoon season, and the rice paddies are flooded with water. This scene, it's the perfect breeding ground for one specific mosquito, the Culex mosquito, which is the carrier for the Japanese encephalitis virus. And when this virus hits hard, it is incredibly lethal. For severe cases of Japanese encephalitis, the fatality rate is a shocking 30%. I mean, think about that. For nearly 1 in 3 people who get the severe form of this disease, it's fatal. And for the people who do survive, the story is far from over. Up to half of the survivors of severe JE are left with permanent neurological or even psychiatric damage. It can literally change their lives forever. You know, what's so scary about this disease is how it starts. It can seem simple at first, just a fever and a headache. But in the worst cases, it escalates, and fast. It turns into acute encephalitis, that swelling of the brain, which can lead to seizures. And the most tragic part? The highest risk group for this terrible outcome is children under the age of 15. So with a disease this severe, you can see why prevention is absolutely everything. There's no cure for it. So the best defense we have is a vaccine. In India, the SA 1414-2 vaccine is a critical part of their universal immunization program, especially in the areas where this disease is most common. All right, let's pivot to our second threat. Now, this one isn't really known for being fatal. Instead, it's famous for causing pain so intense it can completely disable a person. Let's talk about chikungunya. And this is a totally different ballgame. We're not in the rural rice paddies anymore. We are in the middle of the city. The mosquito here is the Aedes mosquito, and it's a day biter. It loves breeding in any little bit of standing water it can find. You know, the kind of stuff you see all over an urban area. If you want to get a sense of just how explosive a chikungunya outbreak can be, get this. During a major resurgence in India back in 2006, an estimated 1.3 million people were affected. It's just a crazy reminder of how fast this thing can tear through a city. The defining symptom of chikungunya is right there in its nickname, the joint breaker. The main thing people experience is this severe, just debilitating pain in their joints. And yeah, the high fever and the rash are awful, but it's that chronic joint pain, which can stick around for months, sometimes even years, that really takes people out of commission. So how do you fight this one? Well, unlike JE, there isn't a widely available vaccine in the public program just yet. So the number one strategy is what's called source reduction. Basically, the best defense is to get rid of the standing water where these mosquitoes lay their eggs. Okay, so now that we've met both of our villains, let's put them side by side. Because when you see them together, it really drives home just how incredibly different these two mosquito-borne nightmares are. I mean, the contrast is just wild. You've got different viruses carried by different mosquitoes that thrive in completely different places, rural versus urban. One attacks the brain and has a high fatality rate. The other attacks the joints and causes chronic pain. And because of that, the way you fight them has to be completely different. Vaccination for one and cleaning up the environment for the other. So this brings up a huge public health challenge, right? How does a country like India fight two totally separate battles against an enemy that, to you and me, just looks like a mosquito? Well, the fight is led by India's National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program, and their strategy is definitely not one-size-fits-all. It's a really smart, tailored approach. They run targeted vaccination campaigns for Japanese encephalitis in those high-risk rural areas, and at the same time, they push for widespread source reduction for chikungunya in the cities. And all of that is backed up by surveillance and making sure the public knows what to do. And for chikungunya, this is where the power really shifts to the community. Simple actions like these become the most powerful weapons we have. Covering water tanks, getting rid of old tires where rain can collect, cleaning out your gutters. By doing these things, communities can literally destroy the Aedes mosquitoes' breeding grounds right where they live. So you see, understanding this tale of two diseases in India is way more than just a biology lesson. It's really a blueprint for the future. As our climate continues to change and our cities get bigger and bigger, new diseases carried by insects are going to pop up. The real question isn't if the next threat will show up, but whether we'll be prepared enough to recognize its unique signature and fight it on its own terms.